Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout New Vegas, where today we're going to be taking a look at all of the player homes that you can get in Fallout New Vegas, and we're going to be ranking them in our tier list. So our tiers are a little bit different this time, since you can realistically make any of these your permanent home if you would really like to, but we're going to be going over the pros and cons of each of them and why you may or may not want to actually use them as your house. Now, this isn't technically all the places that you can have as a house, because almost anything in the Wasteland can kind of become your house. So keep that in mind as well. These are just the ones that you can earn throughout the game, and the ones that you might want to consider making into your house. So let's begin. Our very first home is the Atomic Wrangler Quarter Room. So you can get this from completing a quest for the Atomic Wrangler. It's actually several quests that you have to complete. So you have to complete some of them for the Garrett twins, some for both of them, where you have to collect all of the talent, I guess. All of the escorts, I guess would be a better way of saying it, for the Atomic Wrangler, and that will satisfy at least one of the twins. The other one is collecting all of the caps that you have to get, and then once those are completed, then you find out that McLafferty, their previous bodyguard, stole a bunch of their stuff and headed up to the strip. You got to go up there, confront him, and once you get his hat, then you can come back and you can keep the amount of money, as well as you get the corner room, which is, well, was his room, but now it's your room. And this kind of has some issues as a house. For one, the Atomic Wrangler is in a really weird position for any quick travel spots, because the closest place you can quick travel is either to Freeside or it's to the Strip Gate. If you go to the Strip Gate, then you have to run all the way down the street, go around the corner, go into the Atomic Wrangler, then go up the stairs and go into the room. So it's kind of a walk. That's about the fastest way you can get to it, and that still includes 2 loading locations, which if you're playing this on console, which I know plenty of people have been going back to New Vegas to play it on console since they don't have it on PC or don't have a PC. Loading screens kind of suck for houses because it just means that you're going to end up spending more time. If you're on PC, it's not such a big deal because it can load faster, even more so if you have different mods that help it actually run better. So the location is a little bit weird. It's a little bit odd to get to, and it's a little bit awkward. There is also nothing around this that kind of helps you. There's no extra things. There's no workbenches. There's no reloading benches. There's, I guess, the twins as a vendor, but they don't sell a whole lot of stuff, so you can only sell so much to them. You do have the Silver Rush right next door, so if you want to go sell to them, you can. But either way, this one is a little bit odd. I don't really recommend this as a safe player house. There's also like nowhere to store your stuff, so it's just kind of a whatever room. It's basically if you're in town and you need a place to sleep, this is a place to sleep. There is, I guess, one other advantage to this one, and that is that it is the closest house to the Mojave Express mailbox in Freeside, so you can just go outside of it, go out to the gate, and then the mailbox is right there. So you can move stuff pretty fast to there if you need to. But yeah, I'm going to put it in the Rad Roach Infested one. I wouldn't really recommend it. I guess we should go over the tiers too. So Rad Roach Infested doesn't actually mean that it's Rad Roach Infested. I think kind of all these houses could be Rad Roach Infested, so it just means ones that I wouldn't really recommend. Basic comforts are good enough ones that could be useful. You can quick travel to them. They might have some bonus things there. And then House Sweet House is probably the best ones, and it's also a reference to Follows Chalk since he says that, which I actually just got recently done earlier today, playing through Honest Hearts again with the 10 times enemy spawn mod, and that was actually really fun. Really scary, but really fun. Anyway, let's move on to our other house. This is the Ultralux house. So a lot of the casinos, once you earn enough caps from them, just by gambling there, they will give you a house. This is one of them, and this is called the Bonavent Suite, I think is how you say it. You do need to earn a lot of caps from this. This is easy to do if you have high luck. If you don't have high luck, it might take you a little bit longer to actually earn this through gambling. There isn't a whole lot going on in this room though either, sadly. It's just basically a regular room with some things around it. You do have a bed, you have a few containers that you can store stuff in, you have a bathroom for a sink. This one's even more inconvenient to get to than the previous one that we talked about with the Atomic Wrangler, because the closest fast travel point here is to the strip, then you have to go through the strip door, then you have to go through another door, then into the Ultralux, then into part of the other Ultralux. So you have 4 loading screens just getting to here, and then putting stuff, and there's no extra things there. There's no workbenches, there's no reloading benches. It's just a basic room, and there's nothing really fancy about it. It looks like every other room on the floor there. So I, again, wouldn't recommend this. It's too far out of the way, and it's just kind of a pain to get to. It also just doesn't look way great, so yeah, I'm going to put it there. Next we have the Brotherhood of Steel house. In order to get into the Brotherhood of Steel safe house, you do need to be in contact with the Brotherhood, and you do need to get up to, I believe it's accepted from the Brotherhood for them to get you a key to this, Once you have the key, then you can go up there. This is on the very north part of New Vegas. Luckily, all the safe houses you can travel directly to, so that's pretty nice. And the Brotherhood of Steel safe house actually has a lot of really good stuff in it. But you can find a couple different items in there. You can find some power armor, some recon armor, minigun, a Tesla cannon, a missile launcher, a Gatling laser. This is all pretty good stuff, especially if you just want to sell it. All of that is worth a lot. There are containers here. There is also, I believe, a workbench here, as well as a reloading bench, and you can get purified water here, so that's pretty cool. That actually does get you a lot of advantages. The downsides to this one, though, are that you do have to do the Brotherhood quest, which is kind of a longer quest, and you do have to do it kind of complete without killing them, so you can't even skip ahead really quick or anything. You actually do have to go through the entirety of the quest. You can do it a little bit faster if you have Veronica's help, which is nice. And the location isn't bad, it's just it's kind of a pain to get to because it's so far north to where there's almost always death claws near it, and that can be kind of scary. That's kind of annoying, so this isn't going to be a really good one to get early on. But later on it can be okay, and technically there is only one real loading screen, because you just have to fast travel up there and then go into the building. So, well, I guess the fast travel screen could be another one. But that is only one loading screen, and it does have some amenities around it, so I'm going to put it in the basic comforts. It's okay enough if you want to stay there. It's also got a couple beds and things like that. Then we've got the Legion Outpost. So the Legion Outpost you can get by becoming liked by the Legion. You can do this actually pretty easily, even if you don't want to side with the Legion. I usually do this in most of my playthroughs because this does have a unique item in it, which is really cool. But this is found just outside of the test facility where you have a bunch of ghouls. There isn't actually anything directly nearby the Legion safe house, so it's not really difficult to actually get to. And there's not really any enemies around it besides, I think, some bighorners, and again, the ghouls off to the southern part of it, but you kind of have to go out of your way to get to the ghouls. The bighorners likely won't attack you anyway. There is a campfire out in front of this, so you can make stuff on it, which is pretty nice. And a really quick way to actually get access to this is just go to NCR places and pickpocket as many NCR troopers as you can find and steal their dog tags. That way you don't actually get any negative karma for killing the NCR troopers, and you can just give them right back to the Caesar's Legion, and you can be liked that way, and that way you're liked by both sides. There is some cool things in here. There's a bunch of Legion armor in here, which is kind of whatever. Legion armor isn't the greatest, but it's okay enough. There's a chainsaw in here, which is really good, especially if you're going with a melee build. If not, it's worth a lot of money. Sniper rifle, which is really good. A displacer glove, which is really good for an unarmed build, if you want to go with that. And again, if you're not going with any of those type of builds, you can always sell them for extra money, or if you're not going for one of them, you could always sell them for extra money. There is some stealth boys, some skill magazines, and there is the unique lucky shades in here. And the lucky shades are really cool because they're one of the few items that actually get you +1 luck. It's basically this and like the Naughty Nightwear that will get you +1 luck, and those do stack, so you can have +2 luck. And there's just not a whole lot of items that actually do that. I believe the only other one that's really relevant would be like Ulysses Duster, or maybe it's not even Ulysses Duster. I think Ulysses Duster actually has the crit. I think it's one of the other dusters that you can earn from being with Ulysses. So the Courier Duster, that gives you +1 luck. And that's about it for like the luck items. So this one's actually really cool. It also has its own quick travel point, and you only have the one loading screen to actually get in. Sadly, there is no reloading bench or workbench in here, so it's not as good of a place to go back to as like the Brotherhood one, I would say. It does have the campfire in front of it, but that's kind of whatever. It's not super difficult to find campfires. It's also not super difficult to find workbenches or something, but it is just something to consider. So this one, I'm going to put in the basic comforts too. It's okay if you want to use it as a safe house. Up next, we have the Novac house, which the Novac house is fantastic. This is the motel room that you can get. You get this by either being accepted or idolized by Novac. So this is basically just complete the Ghouls quest or the Come Fly With Me quest, however you'd like to complete it, and then you get this room. And this room is generally a go-to by most players. And it's kind of understandable why, because when you fast travel to Novac, you're basically right there next to your room, so you can just go right inside. On top of that, it does have a working Mojave Outpost mailbox, so you can send stuff right to Novac and then just go into the main building, pick it up, and take it right up to your room. That's really good. You do have a vendor right there with Cliff. You've got a doctor in town, so that's pretty nice. And you've got different benches around there. I believe you have a reloading bench and a workbench in Novac. You definitely have a workbench. I'm not so sure about the reloading bench. As well as a campfire there. So you kind of got everything that you would need inside of just one location. And you just fast travel to it, and there's only one loading screen. Maybe two if you need to grab from the mailbox, but that's it. So yeah, the Novac house is fantastic, and it's basically one of the best go-to houses in the game. You can also get a couple of other things in the room. There are places to store stuff. You can get water from there, so that's a good thing if you're playing on the hardcore difficulty. I would say the Novac house is definitely a sweet house one. It is one of the better ones to frequently go to. Then we've got the follower safe house. This one you get from being liked by the followers of the Apocalypse, which isn't too hard to get. That's actually one of the easiest ones to get. You just got to go to Freeside, go to the Mormon Fort, and then talk to Julie, and you can do some of her quests, which do help this out, or you could just give her a whole bunch of the chems that you're not using, in which case then you can get idolized super fast by them and get access to this right away, which is really, really cool. This one is also a little bit unique because it does have a skill magazine in it. It's got a medical magazine, or a medical book, so that's pretty good. You might want to do it just for that. This one is also just a fast travel spot to where you only got the one loading screen. That's pretty nice. There are some other good items in here too. You can get an all-purpose science suit, you can get an advanced radiation suit, you can get a tri-beam laser, a multi-plas rifle, so those are pretty good for an energy weapon build, and again, if you're not going to be using that, they're still worth a lot of money. You can talk to the doctor there, and they'll give you stuff, which is pretty awesome. Also, shout out to whoever told me this. I actually don't remember who told me this, but it was just earlier when it was during a live stream, that if you go to the followers' safe house, you can keep raiding their fridge because the food will just keep restocking and the water will keep restocking, so that's kind of funny too. I don't think it's a massive bonus to this, but it's kind of a cool little extra thing. There's a workbench here too, so that's pretty awesome. You can actually make stuff here. There's no vendors nearby, but this one's an okay enough spot to actually use, so I'm going to put it in the basic comforts as well. Then we have the Lucky 38. The Lucky 38 is the house that you get as soon as you enter the New Vegas Strip, at least if you go to the Lucky 38, because you're the only one allowed in it. Well, you and your companions later on. The Lucky 38 is a pretty cool location, and it's a pretty cool house. Unfortunately, though, it's not really that convenient of a house to actually live in, because it's another one of these places where it has multiple loading screens, so it's going to slow down for you to actually get there and put away your stuff. The way you have to get here is the closest one is the Strip. You go into the Strip and it's the first building on the left, so it is closer than the other casinos that you could get houses from. But then you either have to talk to Victor, or after Mr. House is out of the way, you can just activate the elevator by yourself and go up to your presidential suite. The presidential suite is pretty nice. It's a really big area, and it's got a lot of places where you could store stuff. It's got tons of area for companions, and you can send your companions to the Lucky 38, so that's pretty awesome too. You can always talk to them there. You also get your snow globe collection here, which is pretty awesome. That is a unique thing about this. And there are a couple other floors that you can go to here. The casino floor actually has a decent amount of stuff on it. Mr. House's area, you can sell the snow globes to Jane there, which is awesome. You can also talk to Mr. House if you want to side with him. And then you can also go to the cocktail lounge, which has one of the snow globes, and it has a briefcase with like C4, and I think it's a Silent 22 in it too, which is pretty cool. I do wish that there was an easier way to actually get into the Lucky 38, or at least up to where your living quarters were, where you'd probably be storing stuff. Unless you want to just store it on the casino floor, which you absolutely could. Yeah, the Lucky 38, I think, belongs in the house suite house, but honestly, I don't use it nearly as much as like the Novac motel, just because this one's so much more convenient. I can ship stuff directly to this. There is actually a box on the Strip, technically, but you do have to go through the Strip door, up through the next door, and then into the NCR's area, the monorail station there. And there's a box in there that you can send stuff to. So you can actually get your stuff on the Strip there, but it is still awkward, and it's even more awkward if you have to come back from that, because you go there, then you have to go through the building, which is another loading screen, back over here, which is another loading screen, into the Lucky 38, which is a loading screen, talk to Victor, get sent up to there, which is another loading screen, then you can put away your stuff, then you have to go out to Victor, talk him down to the next floor, and then leave there. So there's like quite a few loading screens that you have to go through, and that will slow you down quite a bit. That's why I just don't use the Lucky 38 that often. It's just kind of a pain to get to. If it had something that was faster just to travel right to the room, it would be like a top tier house, but it's really awkward. It's still a really cool looking house though, so I will give it that. Then we've got the NCR Ranger safe house. This is their own little bunker. This one is south of New Vegas. It's actually fairly close to like Quarry Junction, but there's no real enemies around it, at least right directly to it, so that's pretty good. There is some cool stuff that you can find in here, and this does have its own quick travel point, so that's kind of nice. I have found a bug with this one though, and I'm not sure if it's just because of the mods I'm running or what, but when I tried to interact with the door on this, I actually phased through the door and had to cheat my way out, which was weird because I phased through the door and it wouldn't let me out because it was locked and I didn't have the key. Why that was, I have no idea. I'm not sure if anybody else has had that problem, but it did happen to me the other day when I was getting footage for this video. In order to get this, you do need to have good reputation with the NCR, and then they will give you a key for this. You do have to talk to the guy at Camp McCarran to get this key. Then you can go over here and you can open it. You can get some NCR combat armor here, which is pretty cool. The Ranger combat armor does look really, really cool, and it's actually pretty good armor. You can also get some NCR salvaged power armor here, which is fine. It's not really that great for heavy armor, not compared to actual power armor, but it's okay enough. You can also get some guns here too. There's like a hunting revolver and a trail carbine, so that's pretty awesome. I believe that there's a reloading bench here, which is kind of cool. And that's about it. This one's another one like all the safe houses where it's okay enough for a basic comfort thing because it kind of gives you everything that you would necessarily need if you're just stopping by. But it's not really a place you would want to actually like call home, stay there, because it's either inconvenient to get to or it's just there's not as much stuff as like other houses provide, again, like the Novac house. Then we have the sink. The sink is our only DLC house, and this one you get immediately upon entering Old World Blues. And some of this stuff is already unlocked for you right away. The auto dock and like the commissary are already here, so you can interact with either of those. Auto dock can fix you up. He can also do a couple other things, which is pretty cool. Commissary sells a bunch of stuff, and he always has a bunch of caps on him. The other personalities you're going to have to unlock throughout doing different quests here. But once you do get it fully unlocked, the sink basically has everything that you could ever want in it, where it's got a vendor in there that has a lot of caps so you can sell him stuff. You've got the auto dock there to fix any sort of problem that you might have, whether it be broken bones, radiation. There is kind of a problem with him, though, is whenever you do fix yourself up, it does take away your radiation. So if you're running Rad Child, it can be a little bit annoying. The auto dock also has different upgrades that you can get in terms of implants. You can also re-roll your traits as well here, which can be useful, especially if you want to abuse the skilled glitch in the game, or if you want to abuse the fact that you can reset Logan's Loophole, if you want to get rid of that. You also have the jukebox here, which can tune your pulse gun, which is kind of cool. You can also put on whatever music you would like. You have the two different lights in here that you can turn on, which give you bonuses so long as you're standing in them, and bonuses that linger afterward. That can be really nice. You have infinite water here from the sink, and you can fill up all of your empty bottles. You also basically have infinite food too if you just talk to the food processor. He'll give you things. You've got the angry toaster there that will give you different parts, and you can superheat some of your weapons. And you can also talk to Muggy that's wandering around, and he'll give you various parts and give you extra materials. Oh, also the book chute. The book chute can also give you different materials, which can be kind of useful, at least for making the skill books in Old World Blues. So there is that. There is also just the huge advantage that this house comes with, that you can just fast travel to it whenever you would like, so long as you're not in an active DLC like Dead Money or Honest Hearts, or I guess so long as you're in Lonesome Road. You can't fast travel back to it either, but as soon as you leave Lonesome Road, then you can come back. So really it's just Honest Hearts and Dead Money that you're actually locked into, and you can always go back to this place because you always get the device transporter, which makes it so you can just jump back and forth. It doesn't even matter if you're overweight too, you can jump right there. Makes it super, super convenient if you've got tons and tons of stuff that you're trying to put away, and there's tons of things that you can put away in here too, which is great because this thing has everything. It's got a reloading bench, it's got a workbench, it has a stove that you can use to cook things, so that's really good too. You can make whatever you need from here, and this one is like the best house in the game in my opinion, so I'd put it all the way up there. And then our final house that you can earn is the High Roller Suite. This one you actually get during the main quest, because you just go over to Benny and talk to him at the tops, and he'll want to have a conversation with you up there sometimes. If you have high enough speech, he'll show up, or if you have certain perks, he'll show up there. And then you can deal with Benny however you'd like, whether that be kill him, keep him alive, make him run away, whatever it might be. Kill him with his own gun, that's another achievement. You can do that too, so that's pretty cool. Even if you don't end up killing Benny and he does run away, you can still just take this suite and use it as your own house. Tops isn't the most convenient casino to get to though. It's the same as like the Ultra Lux, where you have to fast travel to the gate, go through the second gate, run up the strip, go to the building on the right, then you have to run over there, go to the elevator, and then go up to your suite. It's a little bit faster than something like the Ultra Lux, but it's not that much faster, and it's an okay room, honestly. It's not as bad as the other ones, because at least the room looks a little bit nicer, it looks a little bit more unique. There isn't any vendors nearby, because you're just going to have to leave the strip for it, and there's also no crafting anything there. You got a couple of cool things in here, like a safe, you got the pool tables and stuff, but it's another house that's just, you don't really want to use it because it's so much out of the way. And if you're going to use any of the casino houses, I would just say go with the Lucky 38. It looks the nicest and you get the most area out of it. It's also just the fastest to get to. So I'm also going to put this in the roach infested ones. I just don't find it being that useful. So that'll be my ranking of the houses in New Vegas. Tell me what your favorite ones are. Where do you like to store your stuff and why that might be? Even if it's not one of these houses and it's somewhere else, like I constantly use the trash can next to Good Springs because you just fast travel and you're like right next to it. You can just throw all your stuff in it, and then there's also a mailbox right there, so if you want to ship it over to Novac or something, you can immediately. So as soon as you get that house, you can throw it in. And it's also right next to like the workbench and the reloading bench, as well as there is a campfire that's kind of far away, but there is something there if you want to use that too. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye, everybody.